So welcome once again. This is Chris Howard, and here we are in Los Angeles, California, with Mr. Brendon Burchard. Hey, welcome.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being with us.
I'm stoked. Thanks for having me.
Very cool. Why don't you tell, because you're going to tell your bio better than I ever could.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you're from?
Well, I'm most known, I guess, for Life's Golden Ticket, a book I had come out about second chances in life and in love. And
Golden Ticket. That's like Willy Wonka's.
Yeah, it's like Life's Golden Ticket. Something I felt like I got. I was in a huge car accident, 19-year-old kid, and I had these lessons taught to me about how life is about. You got to live it. You got to love. You got to
Where were you? Because I said you were in a third world.
Yeah, Dominican Republic.
In the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, so I was working a summertime job my freshman year in college. Went down there, a buddy of mine rounding corner, 85 miles an hour, spun off the road, hit a little retainer wall, flipped us up into the air, and we flipped over a cliff.
Wow.
And going down these cliff, these three questions came to me. And I don't know if they were questions, they didn't like type it across my head, but it was, so I don't know if it was a cognitive thing or just a feeling, emotional thing. But the questions were, did I live? Because you want to know, did I live my life fully? If this is me at death's doorway, did I live this thing? Did I love? And did I matter?
So you really, you thought this was the end.
I thought it was it. We're falling down the cliff. Did I live comes up. I'm thinking, man, I haven't really lived my life yet. I haven't been passionate, I haven't been vibrant, I haven't been present. I started seeing all these images of my loved ones and started thinking about love, and I was like, man, did I love? And when the car came to a crashing halt, I was able to pull myself through the windshield of this car, and I stand up on this hood, and I'm looking down my body, and there's blood oozing out and everywhere, and I just thought,
for real?
Yeah, no story. This is,
wow. I'm
standing on the hood, blood's coming out everywhere. Big, beautiful moon that night is lighting up the whole hood of the car, so I could see everything, and this blood is oozing out on top of the hood. And I just looked down, and I felt life draining out, literally. And I just thought, did I even matter? And that was the changing point of everything in my life.
How was your friend?
Okay. He survived, but with a pretty massive brain injury. He's going to be at a 6th grade learning level for the rest of his life.
Wow. And
he was the kid who was going to be, he was the valedictorian type of kid, going to be the star, going to be the president of the United States type of guy, and he was hit so hard in the head that he had a pretty massive brain injury. And he's a good reminder for me about how lucky I am. I have pretty difficult back problems and some physical issues, but I'm okay.
So how long was it between this incident and the time that you actually wrote the book?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Did you think about it for a long time, or was it?
I thought, the entire time I was like, I got to write the story, I have to tell the story, but Life's Golden Ticket, the book, isn't even about that story. It just 4 pages in the beginning says, here's what inspired me. I had this accident. Now just read the story. And then the story is about this man undergoing this dramatic change that makes him think about these things. Did he live? Did he really love? Did he matter? And ultimately, he gets his second chance. And so 10 years, I'm thinking, I got to tell this story about second chances. I got to tell you this story. But, I got caught in the corporate treadmill. And I thought, I got to climb the ladder. I got to earn my lifestyle, and then I'll have the credibility someday to write the book. And it wasn't until I finally said, you know what, my passion is more important than my plan to rise to corporate America. Forget about it. And I took some time off from work, went home to Montana, where I'm originally from. And
how old were you at this time?
27. I'm 31 now. So 27 years old, I went home to Montana, and I tried to write the book for 6 months in San Francisco, couldn't write a thing. Nothing was coming out. And I had a good outline, but that was about it. Went home to my childhood bedroom.
But you always had the idea for the book, and the idea followed.
Had the idea, yep. I knew I was going to be a storyline. It's about this guy, he goes to the amusement park, and these magical things happen to him that open him up. That's basically all I had. And it kept that integrity when I finally wrote the book. But went home to my childhood bedroom and wrote the entire thing on my mother's fold-out, 3-legged sewing room table in a tiny 8x8 bedroom, and wrote it in 18 days.
How old were you?
Truly inspired. 27.
27 years old.
Yeah.
So you write this book, and the book's a phenomena. This book's being,
Yeah.
So what happened with the book? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the interesting thing, and a reason why a lot of people want to talk to me now is, like, how did you get the book out there so much? It's a novel. At the end of the day, it's a novel, and first-time novelists can't sell a book.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people watching this want to know how to sell a book. There's authors that would watch this, or budding authors that would say, how'd you do it?
What I did was, that last question, did I matter, was pushing me through the whole project. I thought, how can I make a difference with this book, even if people never read it? And all these publishers were saying, well, what's your platform? Why should we give you a big contract to do this book? And I didn't have a platform, and I didn't really have a plan, but I thought,
Did they like the hook? Did they like the angle?
They loved the hook and everything, but first-time novelists, they know they're not going to make any money.
Right.
So it's a challenge to get that published, even worse than nonfiction. So I thought, I don't have a platform, but I've volunteered for nonprofits my whole life. And I've been working in the corporate world for 7 years. And I thought, you know what, if I could get these nonprofits and these Fortune 500 companies just to promote it for me, then I found the golden ticket. You know, that's the golden ticket to promotions.
Right,
is
for sure.
Getting huge organizations to promote your stuff. That's the golden ticket. And I thought, there's got to be a way to do that. So I started going to these sponsorship conferences.
So this is before you actually sold the book to a publisher.
Yes.
Your plan was to get the corporate sponsorship and to get the nonprofits behind it.
Because I said, you know what, if I get the nonprofits to believe in the message, then I can also probably get them to think, well, you know what, we should sell this too. And I thought, you know, if I just give them a small percentage of it, then it will behoove them to see me succeed. They'll say, you know what, this is mutually beneficial. We like the message, we like the book. It can be a fundraiser for us. It can generate some awareness for us. And I thought, if I can just get them to believe.
So did you write a plan? Did you write a plan of attack? Did you write your top,
no, man,
top 100 people you were going to go after?
I wasn't a good business person at that point. I picked up the phone. I was like, hey guys, I've got this idea. Literally just talking on the phone, no plan, no nothing, just picked up the cold call. And most of them turned me down, but one guy said, yeah, I'd like to see that, sure. Sent him the book, falls in love with it. I said, great. So I went down and I met with him and his whole team. I told him my whole thing. It was messy, it was sloppy, you know. I'm not always good on the fly. It was just kind of messy and sloppy.
And at this point, you weren't making a lot of money or anything like that?
No. I had sunk every dollar into taking time off to write the book.
Got it.
And I'd saved, actually, I had saved up enough money because I thought I was going to self-publish it. I thought, you know, first-time novelist, nobody knows me, I don't have a chance.
Right.
So I literally had cashed out all my stocks, 401k, I'm going to self-publish this.
Did you self-publish first and then sell?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
So you just had a manuscript and an idea.
Yeah, I had a proposal.
You had a proposal.
And what ended up making all the difference in the world is after I got the nonprofits to believe in it and say that they were going to promote it, in the partnership section, or in the promotion section of the proposal, I included all my partners, and I said in detail, here's what they're going to do to promote the book. Because we had worked it out.
How many did you gather by this point?
Three international nonprofit organizations.
Can you?
Yeah, Junior Achievement. Junior Achievement teaches youth about entrepreneurship and being better business stewards in the global economy. But they're ultimately about making a difference. And so that was the tie in the book, because the book ends with this character learning that life is really about making a difference and contributing. And he learns throughout the whole book to live by choice and to live to contribute. So they love that message that, you know, we can choose our fate and that we can contribute to the world.
Now, is this a big organization?
Yeah, Junior Achievement, they serve about 3.5 million youth worldwide. At the time, they're up to 8 million youth now.
Wow. Now, what did they commit to doing for the book?
They commit put it on their website, putting it in their newsletters, emailing their staff about it. They have 139 offices worldwide, letting them all know about the promotion, inviting me to their conferences, making me a spokesperson, making me a board member.
That's a pretty big commitment.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this was just like this. It was a conversation with them. It just, I happened to figure out the strategy at the time to make sure that they understood this was mutually beneficial. So I said, this is a great idea.
So who else did you get? You got Junior Achievement?
Junior Achievement, Kiwanis International. Kiwanis has 600,000 active volunteers worldwide. They got a club in almost every city in America. They're like Rotary, you know, or Lions Club is a service organization. A bunch of people get together, figure out how can we contribute to the community. And obviously a huge network of people. Had me at their convention. I think I sold, it was interesting. On one day, I went to their convention. I gave the keynote. There were 7,000 people there. And on that same day, 2 of my friends were on the Today Show. And I moved more books on that day than they moved on the Today Show. And it just shows the power of, you know, contribution. It shows you the power of, you get a bunch of people who have
you would expect
care and compassion at their heart, you know. That's what they care about. And here's this book that it aligns with their message. That's what I teach in partnership seminars. How do you align with somebody's message? This book's so aligned. If you read it naturally,
did you target these groups because you thought that the book aligned with their message, or was it just?
Yeah.
So there was thought that went into it, or did you find that the messages aligned?
Yeah,
as they said yes.
With Kiwanis, it was, you know, I absolutely knew it. Right. Junior Achievement, we kind of figured out how did it align because they knew it was good for them, and I knew it was good for them, but we just had to figure out exactly what was the verbiage and how do we figure it out. And then YMCA was another partner, and YMCA, you know, serves 30 million people around the world. Wow. Every American is within 45 minutes of a YMCA, practically every American. So they're a serious organization. And at that point, I learned how to pitch and propose. And, you know, I learned how to pick up the call. I learned what to say, to who. And then afterwards, like every great sales call in history, at the end, they always say, send me something.
Right.
You know, no matter how good you are, they say at the end,
yeah,
okay, Chris,
send me
man,
a proposal. Yeah.
send me the proposal, let me see it. And I'd kind of crack the code at that point by working with these first 2 sort of informally. Now I knew what to put in there. Boom, 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 boom. And now every time I go get a partner, whether a nonprofit or a Fortune 500 company, I know exactly what to say, how to say it, why to say it, what triggers it fires off in them, both psychologically and business-wise. Like, I know their response to this proposal every time.
Now, I know you teach people how to do this now.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a bit, because
Yeah.
I'm interested in that. Now, those were the three partners that you had in this book proposal. Was there anything else that made that proposal meaty, that caused them to say, hey, we want you? Because I think you got a pretty big advance in the end, too.
Yeah. It was
huge.
an amazing advance for first-time novelists, but what really ended up happening was, I had not anticipated this. All three organizations happen to be international. And I really hadn't really thought that through. Well, when HarperCollins bought the book and they took it out to the foreign market, and they said, do you want to publish this in German or Spanish or whatever, the publishers would look through the proposal and see that promotion section, and they say, we know these organizations. Wow, this kid's got reach. So we broke out of 16 foreign territories, we broke 12 international records.
Wow.
In Brazil, this is a great example. Brazil, it's not a highly literate country per se for the population that's there, and it's a couple different languages, Portuguese and everything, but they're not big book buyers. The foreign advances you might get aren't that big. And I've heard some numbers, I don't know exactly what they are, I'll ballpark them, but like Harry Potter, I think got like $6,000, $7,000 I heard, something crazy,
I know when my book sold to foreign markets, I mean, it sold to Thailand for 4 or 6 or something.
Yeah, a couple thousand bucks.
Yeah.
I heard the Da Vinci Code, and again, I don't know if these are exact numbers, but I heard Da Vinci Code was like 6,000 some bucks.
Right.
100,000 bucks.
To who? To Brazil? No kidding.
Yeah, we made headlines there because they were like,
was it because of the three partners, or was it, what else was in that?
It was the three partners. It was the message of the book. People feel like this book is a lot
the message is great.
Yeah. At the end of the day, to live by choice.
Anybody can relate to it.
Everybody relates to it, and it's a mystery. It does read like a mystery. The setup of the book is there's this guy who's very unhappy with his lot in life, and he's become very angry and sort of resentful. One day, his fiancée disappears. She turns up 40 days later in this hospital bed, claiming to have experienced all these miracles at this abandoned amusement park in the woods. As her last wish, she hands him this envelope and says, go to the park, find out what happened to me. So to honor her last wish, he takes the envelope up to the park, and when he walks through the rusted entrance gates of this park, it comes back to life. And suddenly he meets all these people, all these carnies and other people who teach him about her life and what happened to her there, and they teach him about his life and how they intertwined, and he starts finding out how to really let go of things that happened in his past, why he should take accountability for where he is at today. And he starts to understand that he has to be more action-oriented in the future. No clarity, no growth. No clarity, no change, no goal, no growth. So he's learning these lessons along the way, but it's not a typical self-help with a bunch of bullet points. It's a story.
Right.
Every chapter you end on a hook, and you're like, what happens? People call all the time. I read it in one sitting. We had people today that I read in one sitting, because you can't help but read, because every chapter ends. You got to know. So I think that was compelling. So I made each chapter very compelling. But at the end of the day, I think so much of it was, hey, this is a powerful message, because there's books that are better than this that never sell. I'm a humble author. I'm amazed, because as a writer, sometimes stuff comes through and you're like, wow, this is amazing.
Do you like to write?
Love to
write.
write.
Do you enjoy it? Really?
Yeah, love to write. Really get into it. I don't do it often enough. But when I do, I love the process. I'm not very thoughtful about it, honestly. I'm not one of those guys that edits and re-edits. When it comes out right, because I'm just open and I'm there. But man, you get a proposal together and it's good. It's a good book, good message, and you've got people willing to spread the word about it. That's how ultimately that book really
succeeded. That's your marketing section. Now, when you put that together, you had a few partners that you had.
Yeah.
And you say you're now continually looking for partners
Always.
For that book, for Life's Golden Ticket.
Not so much for that book anymore, but for other seminars we do.
Uh-huh.
The biggest one I have right now is next year, 2009, in September. I'm launching what's called the Global Partnership Summit, inspired by the World Economic Forum, Clinton Global Initiative Fund. I was inspired, but those organizations, they bring really amazing people together. Politicians, celebrities, governmental leaders, entrepreneurs, all lots of life go to these things. And I was inspired by it, but I thought, I think a lot of that is cause marketing. They go in, organizations go in, they want to make a difference in the world, but they haven't exactly figured out how to do it. And I learned by Junior Achievement Kiwanis. Junior Achievement serves 8 million kids. Kiwanis serves about 2.5 million students, kids around the world. mostly adult volunteers, but they're working in the community. These organizations have both been over, one's 105 years old, another one's 80 some years old. They'd never met. The senior executives never met. I found this out through my partnerships. They'd never met. Here they are reaching 10 million youth worldwide, but they've never met to say, can we take it further together? So
now, when you say youth, because I noticed you were doing the presentation and it said something about college students. Do you do a lot of work with youth?
A lot of My first book was a book called The Student Leadership Guide, and that took off in the college market. So most universities in the U.S. have this book and they teach from it in leadership.
Do you speak a lot at universities?
A lot,
as well?
yeah. A little less now because I do a lot more of the motivational type of speaking. But what ended up happening was through this partnership process, I realized Junior Achievement has met Kiwanis. So in a historic meeting, I brought the leaders together. I just got the top 5 people here, the top 5 people. We met in Colorado Springs, and all of a sudden they realized who they were, and they thought, man, if we tied together, we could change. We could change things. We could reach a lot more students. We could make more of a difference. And that inspired me. That made me say, what other major organizations don't know about each other? What other major corporations or nonprofits are doing the same thing, but they've never gotten together? So that inspired the Global Partnership Summit. So we're bringing together the top Fortune 500 CEOs, the top 200 global nonprofit leaders, the top 200 foundation leaders, and then 500 social entrepreneurs together in San Francisco for 3 days to talk partnerships. And these aren't promotions, it's not cause marketing, let's do some campaign to sell something and benefit some African country, which is okay. This is way more in depth. It says, how do we leverage each other's infrastructure and resources to make a real difference in the world?
And you're going to facilitate this event?
I'm emceeing it and facilitating it because the mentality is so different. We're all trained to figure out our own company and kick some butt as entrepreneurs. Even corporations, they're so siloed in what they do. If they just realize if they saw the map of what everybody else is doing, they say, whoa, we align here, here, and here. If we could just come together in some common causes and really leverage each other's infrastructure and resources, I think we could change the world.
Now, how did you manage to get all these people all together? Or are you're still in the process?
Yeah, no, we got everybody together. We have the 4 presenting nonprofits, which we're announcing in October, and then we have 4 corporate presenting sponsors, all $1 million corporate presenting sponsors. It's a big deal.
And now, what's the size of the event going to be? How many people?
2,000 people.
2,000 people
in San Francisco, and you know what? It's in the early stages, but it happened so fast because I figured out the partnership model, where I didn't go to them and say, "Hey, come to my event. This is going to be really awesome." I said, "Hey, let's create this event," because it's one of the things I always teach is that people support what they create. So when I'm working with partners, I'm not going to them with the world's greatest idea. I'm going to them with an idea, and then we work together very closely to shape it. So it's not just my vision, but we co-create the vision. And now they're invested, they believe in it, they get the idea, and then we move forward real fast from there. So we've just finished piecing together the nonprofit partners for the program, and they're helping us bring on the corporate presenting partners. And it's one of those things, who knows what's going to come from it, but you get that caliber of people in the world. Because I said, what if we got the world's leading organizational leaders? What if we got the people who run the organizations that run the world? What if we put them together in a room for 3 days? I don't know what's going to happen. I have a pretty good idea that there'll be some massive change and there'll be some major insights, but it's just a vision. And it's something that I couldn't have done without the partnership model saying, it's not just about me. We need to figure out how to do this so it benefits everybody involved. And when we, that's not just hype. People talk about that, win, win, win. But when you actually make that a system or a procedure or a tactic, and that's what you do every single time in your business goes whoosh.
Now, this is a money-making event. They're paying for the seats, I take it?
Yep.
And what else do you have going on besides that event? Or is that event your year? Is that a huge event?
No, we have 13 other events.
13 other events?
Yeah, we do an event called Experts Academy, and that's just for authors, speakers, and coaches, millionaire authors, speakers, and coaches. And the whole focus is how do you do a great book proposal for authors?
It sounds like you got that down.
You got that down. Speaking, how do you make a career at speaking? Make a career. I mean, you teach so incredibly how to do that, but you also teach, the actual skills on the platform.
Sure.
Better than anybody. And this is about, well, how do you build a career around that? Not so much about the tactics on the stage, but how do you build the actual career in terms of promotions and marketing? And then the last piece that we teach is coaching. How do you build a real coaching program that is sustainable? There's a lot of people teaching coaching, but as you know, sometimes it's flash in the pan stuff.
Sure.
So how do you build something that's enduring and something that can scale and not kill you?
Right.
Because that's the hardest thing. You start coaching. You're coaching 35 people or 40 people a month now, and you're like, wow. So you got to figure out, well, how do you build that? But how do you also deliver enough value and services that you can charge a high amount so that it's worth your time?
So do you have a big organization behind you? Is it
No, not at all. Actually, that's an interesting question. Yes, 3. my nonprofit partners and my partners are the organizations behind me. What we teach at partnership seminars, this is about, it's not just about a business strategy, it's a business structure. Because when we're working with them, these organizations, they already have a budget. They already have a marketing staff. They already have an organizational team in place. So when we partner with them on, let's say, a project, whether it's a book promotion or a big seminar.
Now, do they support all your seminars?
No, nope. I've focused very targeted now. For example, my college one has something very different than my Life School and Ticket Super
But
Seminar.
you always have sponsorship for the programs, for the seminars that you do?
Except partnership seminar, because it's teaching people to get sponsors,
right.
And I don't want to, muddy the waters there and say this is one so that's the only one we don't try and get sponsors for.
And everything else you have sponsors?
Most everything else.
What does a sponsor do in that case? Are they supporting you from, in terms of putting bodies in the room? Are they supporting you financially?
Yeah.
Are they what are they
All of it. Well, it depends on the relationship. Most of the time, there's 2 components. There's what's called, basically, for lack of a better word, in-kind, stuff they do for free. So they might promote it out to their newsletter for me. They might send out a mass email to their staff, their customers. They might do special little promotions that they might tie me into a promotion they're already doing. Sony Pictures puts me in a sweepstakes promotion they're already doing for a major movie, as an example. So did
they do this for you?
Yeah, that was one of my first big ones.
Which movie?
Reign Over Me, starring Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle.
Well, you got good actors in it.
Yeah, big movie. It was awesome.
Okay, actually the title does sound familiar.
And we were set and slated to do a sweepstakes promotion with them as me as a life coach, and we switched it to a different movie, but that was where the partnership really started. So it's just different for each event that we do.
Now, how'd you manage that? You called Sony Pictures up and you said, hey?
Yep.
What'd you say?
Yep.
How'd the conversation go?
Well, the original relationship with this particular piece started with the college success program I teach, College Success Boot Camp. We bring a couple hundred kids all down to Walt Disney World Resort, and we teach them over 4 days, how do you succeed in college? Emotionally, socially, academically, and financially. How do you do it? How do you graduate college? How do you do it and do it well and live through it? Because 50% of college students drop out in the U.S. and 33% of them drop out their first semester. So they're like, you know what, forget it. That first year, they can't manage it because we're not grooming them for that. We have 30% of our kids dropping out of high school. In the U.S., 30% of kids dropping out of high school. Then they're going to college and 50% dropping out because no one's preparing them. So I said, I got to build this program. So we built it and we started promoting it. And I saw that they were doing a promotion and they were really targeting the college market. And I said, well, I'm targeting the college market too. So a couple of emails, a couple of phone calls, and all of a sudden we had this deal where I basically gave them free tickets to my event. And they used that as a sweepstakes prize in a promotion they were doing. And that's like a small one now. Now the stuff that we're doing is much bigger. They were amazing. They gave us 5 million impressions for that seminar. I started that seminar, it was like 4 days old. We had a couple hundred students with the same sound and lighting system as like a Dave Matthews concert. I mean, it was obnoxious. Wachovia was one of our big sponsors.
Wow. So I would imagine your database is growing very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's interesting because you have different areas of the business. We've got our college database, we've got our adult seminar database. I have my corporate database because we do a lot of corporate speaking, a lot of corporate training. So they're all different, but I'm a little bit different in this industry of teaching entrepreneurial marketing. I'm not so big on building the list as I am is leveraging the organization's lists. They've already got the customer pool.
Sure. So
they've already got the database, and now. If I get
so
their
if you've got access,
if you have access to that, yeah. And I just saved myself 20 years of building a list.
Right.
And do they let me mail on everything? No. Do we focus and do things strategically each year that benefits each other? Yeah, absolutely. So the partnerships really have grown. I think they grew organically at the beginning, and then they became a little bit more an understood art, and now it's almost a science where when people come to our events, we teach them, here's the pitch, here's the proposal, here's how to structure it, here's who to talk to, here's what to say, what not to say. And we show them step by step how to do that. And I think that what motivates people about all of this is just the mentality of saying, you know what, I can't build the business on my own. I'm as humble as they come, and I'm a young guy, and I know how young I am. 31.
31.
Yeah. And I'm lucky to be here. And I'm not here because I'm this whiz-bang genius kid. I'm here because my partners recognized the intent I came at. It was authentic. I was trying to give. I didn't go to them and ask them to do all this stuff. I just said, hey, I got this idea. Can we build something here? And honestly, what ended up happening was they recognized that. And because I structured it in a way that it benefited them too, you know, like the nonprofits, they raise funds and awareness through my efforts, through my works. They're benefiting from it. So it makes sense for them to promote it. So they promote it. So people always say, how'd you get here so fast? And I say, well, I was kind of pulled. You know, these organizations helped make it happen for me. It wasn't just Brendon showed up and I'm, you know, the smart kid. It's that I have a particular outlook on life because of my accident. That last question of did I matter drives everything I do. These organizations know that because I have a good relationship with them. And at the end of the day, people get really intimidated, especially small business owners, with these big partnerships. And I always say, just if you're a small business owner, you know, a lot of small business owners get small-minded because they're worried that they can't compete, or, you know, Brendon, I can't work with these global nonprofits. I can't work with these Fortune 500 companies. And I go, at the end of the day, it's you and one other person at that organization. You know, it's a relationship. It's you and me chatting about what we can do together. It's not that intimidating. And when you just get over, you know, that selfish need to make sure that you succeed and that you win in every single way in the relationship, you'd say, I'm going to go and I'm going to give, and I'm going to give the best that I can, and I'm going to serve. Then you really do make the difference, and you really do make the income, I think.
So do you have another book coming out here soon?
Yeah, I got 2.
You got 2?
I got 2 in a row, yeah.
Really? Are they related to the first one at all, or it's totally different?
No, same. Well, the second one's the same style. The second one is a business parable, though, and it's called The Monkey Bar Mindset. And it's a metaphor of how we can't swing forward in life until we let go of what's behind us. So the whole story is built around this man who just has not figured out how to let go of the past.
Huh.
The whole story is about that. You know, once you let go of this, then you can finally grab that. And then another book called the 4 Secret Gates to Growth and Happiness. And that's your general nonfiction self-help book. And both are written, and we're just
fantastic.
We're doing the deals.
It's a lot. Now, are you doing it with the same publisher, or a different publisher?
We'll see.
You'll see.
Yeah,
so
we'll
it all comes down to the
yeah.
money.
Those got superseded a little bit because Life's Golden Ticket, we're working on making it a movie. Huh. And some huge.
Now, have you already sold the rights to that for the movie, or is it
it's
in the works?
We're pretty close.
Wow.
And it's with some surprisingly very serious people who, you know, I'm astounded by it because it's one of those, you never know. Sometimes just if you open up and you do what you're called to do, the universe opens up and it starts calling people into the mix. And astoundingly, some.
Now that should be a big one for you, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be, you know. That would be a major movie. Because, you know, originally the conversations, would this be a TV movie or movie? I said, I'm not going to do TV stuff. I don't like TV movies. I don't even watch TV. So I said, I would never see it. I said, theatrical. So they said, no problem. And we started having some.
So did you actually come up with the idea to go theatrical and start pitching it? Or
no.
Did they come after you?
They came after us. Yeah. Huh. This particular situation, a producer was sent our book from a fan. One of my seminar attendees, it turns out. And the guy had met this person casually, got the book, he read the first 10 pages, this is pretty good, handed it to his assistant. His assistant walks in the next day and said, that changed my life. He's like, cool, put it in his bag, went out to a meeting with one of his billionaire investors, a guy who funds the development of some of his movies. And they had a great lunch together, and he gave him the book, and the guy called back the next day and says, this is a movie that needs to be created.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. And so now it's just, well, how do you work out the details and who's involved? And
I was going to ask you what's next for you, but it seems pretty obvious. Is there anything else on the radar screen that's you go, boy, that's something I've
Man, doing more work with you.
You know? With me?
Yeah. I watch you up on stage. I say, he's got it figured out. You know what? You're doing it for the right reasons. You have fun up there. Your audience loves you, and it's like, we got to do some stuff together. And then, you know, it's just developing more of our seminars. You know, we've got 8 different events that we do, and we do them 13 times a year, starting this year. So you know how it is. It's getting more people in seats, getting the influence out there, and building your organization so you can actually do it without, you know, never sleeping and working your tail off. So You know, I just had to
But
take.
when you figure that part out, you tell me.
Yeah. Well, I just got married.
Oh, you just got married. I
Yeah,
didn't realize
this
that.
is 3 weeks ago.
Wow. Congratulations.
4 weeks ago now. So I was having to leave for 4 weeks. And the great part about the whole thing that I'm set up is we outsource a lot of our work to our partners because they already have budgets and marketing departments and everything. So they do a lot of the work for us. So when it was time for me to leave, you know, my staff and everybody else, it was really understood. I'm gone for 4 weeks, you know, gone, honeymoon stuff. You know, no calls, no email, zilch. The only call I actually had to take was about the movie because I got a call from our entertainment rep and said,
You're not going to pass that one up. Huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was one of those. I was in, we were in Costa Rica. Said, I don't know where you're at, but you got to pick up a phone. So I had to rent like $100 phone there,
right?
You know, because I didn't get foreign service. So I mean, it was funny. But yeah, it's growing the seminars, it's doing the books out there, and it's continually developing the partnerships and even the Fortune 500 relationships we developed further and further to support all of this. And we'll see how it all turns out. But so far, I mean, what a blessing.
Fantastic.
You know, a 31-year-old kid, and I feel truly lucky about it. You know, some people, I know I've designed my way a little bit because I had the clarity that I don't want to do this by myself. And I had the clarity that we can make a change if we partner with other people. But a lot of it is filled in. You know, it happened in the right ways because the right intention was out there. And I think, you know, I work hard about it, but at the same time, we have partners who get it. You know, they get the intention. That's helped everything.
So how do people find out more about you? Is there a website that people should go to?
Yeah, you just go to it's just lifesgoldenticket.com. Name of my book, lifesgoldenticket.com.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Hey,
Appreciate
man,
it.
it's great being with you again.
Yeah, good.
Thanks, Chris.